Now, it's a month to the G20 summit in Hangzhou. Ahead of the summit, experts and government officials are gathering in Beijing to discuss some of the trade and investment outcomes that could be arrived at in that meeting. Our reporter Wang Hui has more.
About 30 experts and government officials from some of the G20 members are discussing trade and investment issues connected with the upcoming G20 summit, which will be held in early September.
The G20 summit is very important this year because there's so much uncertainty in the world economy. With a downturn in the growth and trade, with the problems in Europe and the potential departure of the United Kingdom from the European Union. And it's important for the G20 countries to assume a leadership position and show a way towards future growth in trade and the economic performance of the 20 countries.
Workshop participants have also evaluated achievements made at the recent G20 trade ministers meeting in Shanghai. It's seen as laying the groundwork for the Hangzhou summit. The meeting in Shanghai issued the first trade ministers' joint statement in the history of the G20, and that members agreed to take comprehensive measures to help developing countries and small businesses move up the global value chain. They also agreed to prolong the commitment of not implementing or reducing trade protection measures through to the end of 2018. But Scott is not optimistic about this commitment. He thinks trade ministers have just made the same commitment as 10 years ago.
They just repeated what they have done in the past, and they've never fully implemented the commitments they have made in the past in this area. But unfortunately, the G20 is a very diverse group, and the countries have different priorities, and they also have different definitions of what is a protectionist measure.
But one Chinese expert believes it's important to achieve goals like this step by step. The forthcoming summit will facilitate the reduction of trade protectionism.
Our goal is to implement the measures of reducing trade protectionism. But first we need to reach an agreement and establish the rules. During the recent trade ministers meeting, they decided to establish a system of indicators to monitor those countries' actions, which is a step towards implementation. In the summit, the leaders are likely to emphasize the importance of opposing trade protectionism and reach agreement and principles on this.
Zhang believes after the summit, some member countries and economic organizations will adjust their own trade policies and implement it. Trade and investment is an important engine of economic growth, but the global environment has not been too positive. In the last 4 years, the world trade growth rate was lower than the world GDP, and the aggregate investment didn't exceed the highest level set prior to the 2008 financial crisis. As the chair of this year's G20, China is striving to lead the countries out of the economic downturn. Wang Hui, CCTV, Beijing.